All right, it is 4:30 and welcome to the Public Utility District #1 of Skagit County Board of Commissioners meeting for March 11th, 2025. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Hearing none. We'll now pass on to audience comments. See staff in the room and none online. All right, then, so let's see here. George.
All right, it's quick. Good afternoon, commissioners. Update you on some of my activities for the last few weeks. So February 12th to 14th, right after the last meeting I was at, there were Waputa Association meetings in Olympia, and I went down there, attended the managers meeting. There were Waputa Day on the Hill activities. There was the breakfast and then the lunch. Attended those. They're really well attended by legislators and their aides, say. When there's a free lunch, you get a lot of people showing up, so that was good. And then Cameron did set up meetings with legislators about our capital requests when I was down there in February. So we met with Representative Rammel, Representative Paul, and Shavers. They all seem positive about our requests, but we're really uncertain about getting funding just because of the state's budget issues. So the visits were good. Will we get any of our requests filled? I'm not sure yet. The following week on February 20th, you must saw this in Friday Facts, but I was Waputa requested that I testify in the Senate Transportation Committee hearing about Senate Bill 5690. So that was a bill that was developed by Waputa, and it was developed for utility relocation issues, specifically to force WSDOT to provide a year's notice for utility relocations and also to request federal funding on our behalf. Apparently there's funding available, federal funding for WSDOT to use for projects, for their own projects, and they could request it and, you know, help us relocate the utility, but they just haven't been doing it. So this bill pushes them more in that direction. I think it's passed through the Senate, and I think it's going to the House, so it's starting to gain some momentum. We'll see where it goes. The week after that, so this is February 24th to 27th, I went with the Waputa delegation to DC to lobby with our federal legislators. For water PUDs, the talking points when we met with people were mostly focused on funding programs, continuing programs that are already in place, like the state revolving fund, and adding additional funding, things like utility relocations and cybersecurity. But similar to what we heard in Olympia, I think we heard it even in higher volume in DC, which is if you want new funding, it's not likely, and you know we'll have a challenge even just keeping existing funding going. So wasn't really great news there. On the electric side, with all the other electric PUDs, they were focused on Bonneville Power Administration. Their focus was, I think, to keep it functioning and not have it be privatized. I think there's issues going on at Bonneville where people are leaving, and I think they're having trouble staffing it, and it's creating challenges keeping their organization running because they supply direct power to a lot of PUDs who just turn around and sell it. But privatizing that, I think, would really change the way it looks and operates and what their rates would be. So a lot of the electric PUDs are really concerned about that. Let's see. So yeah, all in all, not a lot of great feedback. There are PUD Association meetings in Olympia in March, and the legislative reception is going to be on March 20th, Thursday. I have the invitation from Maputo, so I'll be forwarding that to our legislators for the county. And then I'll ask Cameron, he was going to try and work on setting up some more meetings with our remaining legislators on that day. So I'll see if he has any success doing that. I'm gonna be there anyway. So, you guys can decide if you want to come based on if we get meetings with people. So I'll try and let you know by the end of the week. What else? So we have filled the open CSR position. So that was good. We got a lot of applications, and we're gonna have somebody starting in April. And there's currently an opening for our development inspector. So that was internal first. We didn't get any response, so now it's advertised externally, and I think that closes next week. And we did submit applications to Department of Ecology for the water rights transfers for this summer. So we're in process with those. Other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Building timeline still on hold pattern.
Yes. I don't have any good information to share. We're waiting on the contractor to finish up punch list items.
Right. All right, so let's talk operations update.
Afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon.
Mark covered the majority of the projects we're all involved in as far as pipelines and capital projects a couple of weeks ago, but a few more things going on outside of that with the other departments still. So the Gilligan automation is better-ish, as they say. We were able to run it. The operators were able to run it in hand remotely through the SCADA interface. So at least we are still not having to go up to the streams to engage it. We can do it from the HMI at the treatment plant. So we can put it in hand, run it remotely there. The fully automatic portion of it is still glitchy the last couple of weeks. The stream gauges were down. They had to go up and fix the stream gauges, so it didn't have the communication link wasn't working. Still ironing out some of that, but it's a new project, new process. So we're working on ironing out some of the kinks. Gotta find which one is the red here. Where's the pointer on this thing, Nick? There we go, green, okay. So this is just one of the interface screens that they use to monitor the flow and so forth on the Gilligan. I'll show some more screens here in a second. But they're getting there. It's gonna take a few. We haven't had a really long weather window either of a couple of weeks of constant rain to play with it back and forth. We get a couple of days of rain and then the streams drop off. Then it comes up and it drops off. But at least now we have the ability where the operators are in at night or on the weekends by themselves. They are able to monitor it through the screen and activate it and turn it on and take water where we didn't have that before. So getting there. Got to iron a few more things out. We'll be in fully automatic mode one of these days. One of the other things they're doing right now is they're installing the new streaming current monitor that was in the budget for this year, which monitors the incoming water and the controls the coagulation dose based on the polarity of the water. And then today, Mark Semra was up there and they were digging test holes for the location site or near the location site for the new bulk storage for the disinfection transfer of the system. This is one of the other screens for the Gilligan intake. It shows stream flow, total flow. There's an HOA module. They can turn it hand off and auto. Different monitoring points. It's hard to see from here, but the different stream data, conversion factors of the gallons and the cubic feet. Same with this one. Now we can at least plot and trend all the information. So it shows when the valve's on and off, percentages open, when they're taking water, how much they're taking, things like that. So all beneficial, even though we're just in hand for now. At least now we're able to track all this stuff and log all this stuff that's happening. Turbidity, stream levels, all the different things. So all of it's a bonus. So this year is a on-site audit of the lab. This first one in 3 years with COVID and all that. It's been a few years since I've actually been there from DOE to do an on-site visit. Amelia's, they've done 2/3 of the proficiency testing is already out of the way, like the soluble solids, pH, coliforms, there's different sets of testing for getting the proficiency testing done. So all that's been getting done ahead of time. All the information is sent in, and there will be an on-site visit in April to get the lab reaccredited.
How long do they have to spend on site, you know?
Shouldn't be long because most, like I say, most all the paperwork has just been sent in ahead of time. So this is just basically on-site visits, make sure they're setting samples right, and just be a day. I mean, it's just.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah. Some of the things maintenance been working on, there's, they did 27 tie-ins in that Burlington job, I think Mark talked about before. A lot of maintenance going on right now, typical leaks this time of year with the weather changing and the ground moving, hydrant maintenance, davit bases. Some of the stuff that Jay's haven't done, or we're putting davit bases in for retrieval for all of the confined spaces. So the guys are out basically riveting those or bolting them into the lids and testing those. Still putting in registers, helping out when they can to help the meter department swap out the 5/8 registers. Concrete and asphalt repairs. Started doing a 300-foot stretch of 12th Street yesterday. We've had 2 or 3 breaks in the last 12 months, so they're replacing a stretch of main up there on the hill. The 9th and Hydro project is coming up at 9th Street, which is going to be next Monday. I believe the contractor's showing up on site to start basically digging down to our line to find out where the vault's going to go in and to put our plumbing and pieces in for the micro hydro. And then recently they redid a fire service out at Twin Bridges, where they had to basically take everything out of the vault. All that stuff that's in the ground was already in there, so basically had to re-expose everything, replumb from the Anacortes connection through the vault, hook up a new fire service, reconnect the old domestic. And that's what it looked like before they got there with the tree and all that in place, and then that's what it looked like when they left. So the guys did a great job out there redoing all that groundwork and making it look good when it was all done. Meters, same thing, still focusing on the replacements of all the 5/8 heads. We're down to around 12,000 left out of the 20,000 plus. Still dying at 100 to 200 a week. That's going to continue until they're all gone. Unfortunately, getting closer. I think we're probably down to the last year of life on a lot of these. Large meter testing coming up again in June and July. This is the last of a 3-year cycle. We have an outside vendor come and help us do the large meters, the big revenue meters. And then we'll be budgeting next year for a meter to start doing our own testing rather than hiring it out. Now that we're caught up over the last several years getting these ones all tested, we're gonna try and do it ourselves, save the money and do it in-house. So again, some of the other projects, the 9th and Highland micro hydro, the power panels are in. Next thing is gonna be, you guys see the outline of the tank there. The next thing will be in the big area between there and the fence. We're gonna start excavating down to the line, which is about 8 feet deep or better, to start installing all the plumbing for the micro hydro. We met with the vendor today on the SRD pumps and motors. We need to get number 1 rebuilt with a new configuration to with the water cooled bearings. We're looking at getting they got to change the height of the pump can and so forth. So they met us on site today. The new pump design will be hopefully better and longer life. There'll be a water cooled bearing at the bottom and a freshwater flush. So we're trying to get the heights and all that determined to get a better, closer figure so we can order that pump and motor combo in this year's budget. The distribution department is changing the way we are filling tanks to help again with moving forward with the disinfection study, trying to figure out leveling out flows throughout the system to try and keep a more constant flow from the plant during the day and at night. A lot of times things run during the day because just demand. So we're trying to fill some of the larger tanks that run 1,500 gallons a minute or more after 10 o'clock at night to try and level the flows out all day long, which will help in the future with the disinfection changes and stuff we're gonna do. So we're doing some modeling and some trying of different things to level the system out. Another couple SCADA projects coming to Cedar Woolley, Dukes Hill and Hoopdall to level that system out again. It's gonna be partially to help the Cedar Woolley side of the flow of the treatment plant and the retention of water and disinfection and lots of different factors playing into that. We're going kind of fast. Any questions so far? And then projects on one of the things on the docket tonight is the potlatch RO skid replacement. And in the roster here tonight to approve the purchase of the skid through Case Marine. Got a couple slides here come up on that. Zane's been busy repainting all the pumps and motors in the SRD, has done a great job on that. This is the existing RO skid, basically the first couple of weeks it was put in 20-some years ago. There's a large piston pump here and the reverse osmosis skid that's in the building now. 2 vessels have 6 membranes apiece, makes about 20 gallons a minute to permeate, 60 gallons a minute to flow into the plant. The new one is going to be a single vessel with 4 membranes in it. So it's going to be probably 2/3 the side of the skid that's in there. And produce about 15 gallons a minute with about 35 to 40 gallons a minute of inlet flow. So a lot smaller footprint, less membranes, less to take care of, less to rot, less to maintain, less power. And this is the skid that's designed by Case Marine that they're waiting to build for us right now. Another thing the crew did earlier this year, some of our maintenance guys and electrician and all those added on to our shed that's on the wash rack and put the RP in here. So the water line that went to the new building all the way around basically came to a dead end. So as we got to thinking, when the building was built, there was a meter behind here that came from the existing building that we're in now that fed this wash rack for wash down. So a decision was made to continue this water line all the way around and put a new meter and a RP in this building. So every day when we are washing and flushing, filling trucks, washing vehicles, we are using water going by the building, keeping that water fresh past the new admin building. Otherwise, all that water, that 12 inches is sitting there stagnant except for flushing toilets and coffee makers. So this will keep the water flushed all the way around through there routinely. And that's the RP inside the building. And again, the guys did this, our own maintenance guys re-roofed this whole thing out of the building, did it on ourselves in-house. So that'll be a lot better for the consistency of the water over there at the new facility. We'll keep it all nice and dry and warm and won't freeze and be better for everything. As part of the budget, also this year, there was 2 new service trucks. The one that we purchased for the 2025 budget money that we bought last fall or early this year. The second one, or the first one, I should say, that we ordered 4 years ago, we finally got. And then the new dump truck that we ordered that this year's budget will be here Monday. Coming from San Diego, somebody's gonna drive it up here from San Diego. And then we've also auctioned off some of our older surplus fleet and we gained a little over $50,000, I think, in selling some of our old stuff recently. And that's the new service truck we bought from Blades. After we outfitted it, our own guys outfitted all the racks. We put a lift on the back. You can't really see it all that well, but there's a jumping jack right there. So this lift will help hoist that jumping jack up into the back of the truck to save people's backs. Normally you're lifting up there by hand. That's the new service truck we waited 4 years to get. It's finally here. And it's just about ready to go and hit the road here in the next couple of days as well. And then that's the dump truck still sitting in San Diego, but it'll be here Monday.
Palm trees.
Yeah. That's it, unless you got any questions.
Well done. All right. So now we can entertain some resolutions. Waiving water connection. Mark?
So we are requesting the approval of a resolution to waive connection fees for kind of a lower income housing development. We did this once before, for I believe it was farmers housing on College Way, just before it turns. And the agreement was with the county. This one is with the city of Burlington. And it basically allows them to get connection funds through a grant agency and through the city back to us. So we're not waiving our fees.
They're
We're
being
waiving
paid-
our fees, but we're collecting
They're
the
being
money.
paid for through the grant.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
We're waiving our fees to the development, basically the Volunteers of America. We're waiving our fees to them, but collecting them through other sources.
So at the end of the day, the city of Burlington is who's paying us through the.
It's
through
the-
the grant funding, or Volunteers of America receive money from Burlington, then
Yes.
it comes to us from.
Yes, yep.
Well,
So I would make a motion to approve resolution 2312 25 to waive connection fees paid by Volunteers of America of Western Washington.
And I second.
a motion and a second. All in favor?
I
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Excellent. Now. Let's talk about reverse osmosis.
Yeah, this is a request to authorize the purchase of that skid that we just discussed a second ago in the presentation from Case Marine after going through a process of RFQ with them and one other facility. We would like to purchase this reverse osmosis skid from Case Marine from Arlington. We visited them several times. They've been out to our plant a couple times. They're familiar with our operation, what we need. The other skids that we've looked at are kind of just a cookie cutter. These guys are able to build exactly what we need, put the piping where we need it, and build it to fit our needs versus just a cookie cutter. And they also have a support system and contract available if need be, where the other suppliers did not. And this is just the best fit for us financially and for support after the fact overall.
Well, I have been to the location that you're speaking of, and I really appreciate that this is finally moving forward. And the idea that it is supporting local infrastructure too is really great, local businesses. The other thing I appreciate is in your fiscal impacts, that you put the history, so, thank you for that, because
Well, it
sometimes.
Came with a lot of help, thank you, but I needed help from George and others to help me get all this stuff in there, but yeah.
Sometimes projects that go on and on and on. There's a lot of questions as to why did we keep moving that forward? Did that money actually get spent? So this really helped provide, this wasn't a project that the money kept increasing and increasing and we kept spending and spending. It kept having to be moved forward for reasons out of our control.
And it took a while to get there also with the Department of Health.
Yes.
So going through designs and submitting them to them, waiting for their approval and then getting feedback from them and making changes and then finally getting it down to a final price and landing on something that's good for them and for us. And took a while, but we finally got there. So now we need to have it manufactured and get it built, which they should only take 4 to 5 months to get it built.
Oh,
And then we can install it in the fall. This company builds RO plants for cruise ships and stuff all over the world. So they're all over the world all the time doing this kind of stuff. So fitting them in there now. We'll get us in there in the spring and summer to get it built so we can implement it in the fall when the usage on Guemes Island is less. Because it's gonna take us a while to swap it out.
Well, I would just say programmatically, this is the way to ask for a sole source contract, right? It's very well defended and it shouldn't, I feel like this is something that we can defend as a district and it helps us as commissioners. But when you see that, it's automatic cause for pause, but it's very well argued argued are very persuasive, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Discussion, all right, well, I would be looking for a motion.
I motion to approve the sole source contract with Case Marine and authorize the approval of the contract for a new reverse osmosis plant at Guemes Island.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries, all right, approval.
Thank you.
Sure, there you go.
Thank you.
All right, I've got some Judy Reservoir data in there for this year, to be sure, not last year. Commissioner comments, anything?
None for me.
No, I'll just say, George, again, I appreciate you hitting the road. It does help to position us for those funds when it is available again. It helps with our brand credibility here. We're shovel ready and we only ask for what we need. So, sometimes it just takes being there to remind them of that. So appreciate it.
Had to sacrifice my body, though. I came back with a cold bug and stuck it on
Left
for
it
a
all-
few days.
left it
Yeah,
all- left it all.
that's what it
Yeah.
takes, right?
There you have it. All right, so the time is 4:56 and we will recess for executive session per RCW 4230-110-1C. We anticipate reconvening in 30 minutes.
So you have to state the time,
At what? So it'd be
5:27.
5:26.